Hey everybody, this is Mark and welcome to the Gun Guy channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Taurus G3C, a gun I call the Glock Killer. We're going to look at this gun right now. So today we're going to start out this review a little bit differently than most of our reviews. You know how if there are little children in the room and they're watching the news and there's going to be something they shouldn't hear because it's going to disturb them, they should leave?
Don't let your kids watch it!
Or how if you're epileptic and there's a strobe in the movie, you shouldn't watch it because you'll start to have seizures. If you like Glocks, you should leave the room now. And if you have a friend in the room with you while you're watching this who likes or owns a Glock, why don't you have him go away and get some ice cream, and then he can come back in about 10 minutes and everything should be fine. We'll wait. Okay, so I know a lot of people love their Glocks, and I know a lot of people who don't love their Glocks. In fact, Glocks are one of the most customizable guns in the world, and the reason is because nobody actually likes shooting them out of the box. Despite that fact, the Glock 19 is probably one of the most popular handguns in the US, and Glock's probably one of the most popular brands of handguns in the world for that matter. What I'm gonna say in regard to that is, you know, a lot of people like Taylor Swift too. I'm not one of them, and I kind of look at Glocks like the Taylor Swift of guns. So they're really popular, but I think they're a little cheap and trashy. So I'd much rather go to a SIG or HK concert. Since Glocks are so popular, we're going to take a look at them. And we're going to specifically start looking at some of the clones and why people started knocking them off. Well, they're so popular that when Glock's patents started to expire, other manufacturers got into the market and they wanted to take a piece of that Glock market share. So one of those is the Taurus G3C, which in my opinion is a much better gun than a Glock. So hopefully the Glock people were out of the room when I said that so that they don't start frothing from the mouth. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to unbox this Taurus and we're going to compare it to two very similar models of Glock, one of which is the Glock 43X, the other is the Glock 26, and we're going to see how they stack up right now. So let's take a look at what's in the box. This obviously came from Bass Pro. One of the reasons that I got this gun from Bass Pro is it was one of the best prices I could find. I ordered this online and it's a really simple procedure. So for those of you who like going in and putting hands on the gun at a gun store, please don't be intimidated. Sometimes you can save yourself a lot of money when you just buy online and have it delivered right to the store. So let's take a look at what's in the box. You have this nifty $30 off coupon, which honestly, for a red laser, a Viridian lasers, 65 bucks, that's not bad. $10 off on the holster. Stop! Activate your limited lifetime warranty. The manual for the G3 and G3C. The G3 is the big brother. The Youth Handgun Safety Act notice. A lock. A lock for the trigger. Again, that's standard at Bass. A beautiful plastic bag with the Taurus logo. And something in Spanish that I don't understand, although I think it's don't compromise the experience, something like that. And a chamber indicator, at least I think that's what that is, and an extra magazine. Now I did think that this was supposed to come with 3 magazines, but it looks like it only came with 2. We're going to check the gun. It's never been loaded, so it is clear, good to go, and we are good to go with the review. So we're going to take this box away, take the Taurus limited lifetime warranty sticker off of the gun, and let's get into comparing this gun with Glocks, because as you can tell by looking at it, it has some very similar features to a Glock. And again, that is because some of the Glock patents expired. So this is pretty much a Glock clone. And the 2 guns that it really kind of falls in between are the Glock 43X and the Glock 26. So let's take a look at the Glock 43X first. All of these guns shoot 9mm, so that's what we're going to be comparing it to. None of the Glocks that shoot 40s, etc. The Glock 43X comes in at 6.5 inches in overall length. Barrel length is 3.41. The width on that gun is 1.1 inches. The height is 5.04 inches. The weight on that gun with an empty magazine in it is 18.7 ounces, and it comes with a standard capacity of 10. The Glock 26, which is a little bit smaller, right? So if this was Goldilocks and the Three Bears, it's not too hot, not too cold. This is just right. Okay, so this falls in between those 2 Glocks. But the Glock 26 has an overall length of 6.42. The barrel is 3.43 inches. The width is 1.3 inches. The height is 4.17 inches. And here, granted, I'm going to actually say something good about the Glock right now. Because the height and the grip is really what makes the gun difficult to conceal, the Glock 26, which is a smaller gun, is obviously more concealable. So there, I said something nice about the Glock. I'm going to go vomit now. The weight with an empty mag in the gun is 21.69 ounces. And the Glock 26 also comes standard with 10 rounds. Now, the Glock 26 you can also expand to 12, 15, 17, 19, and 24 rounds. That would eliminate the advantage of the height because obviously you're using extended magazines for that. The Glock 26 comes in the Gen 5 anywhere from $550 to $700. In regard to the 43X, that comes in somewhere between $500 and $625 new. Now, this is before you start swapping stuff out, right? Everyone loves Glock so much that the second they buy a Glock, they start swapping things out. They swap out the trigger because the trigger's not that great, the sights because the sights are plastic. Honestly, the grips, you know, you could wind up spending easily $3 or $4 extra $100 modifying the brand new gun out of the box. By the time you're done with that, you're looking at almost $1,000 gun. And honestly, most of the people I know who love their Glocks are not talking about a Glock that's coming right out of the box. They're talking about a Glock that they've souped up.
So, it's fixable, right? Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of like saying, you know, I love my 62 Cadillac. As soon as I changed the transmission, brakes, engines, interior, and electric system, it was a great car. Nonetheless, you're looking for a really good Glock, perhaps upwards of $1,000. And for that, you can buy a lot of really nice guns that are right out of the box. So for that kind of money, I'd rather just get a SIG or an HK. And I do prefer those to Glock any day of the week. Now, all these Glocks come with their standard safeties, or what they call safeties. I don't really consider them safeties. For me, a safety is something that prevents the trigger from activating the bullet when you don't want it to.
I just shot myself.
Glocks don't have a manual external safety, and therefore I would not personally carry one with one in the chamber, particularly appendix carry. But you know, if you're comfortable with that, and if you don't particularly want to have children, you go ahead and do that.
That I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only.
Now, let's take a look at this gun. And let's start out with the biggest thing that makes this gun a lot more attractive than a Glock, and that's the price tag. So you can buy this gun for $245 online right now, which means you could buy 2 of these out of the box for the price of either one of those Glocks. And if you soup up your Glock, you could buy 4 of these guns for what you wind up with the Glocks. So price definitely goes to the Taurus. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, in regard to the dimensions on this particular gun, this gun comes in at 6.3 inches overall length. The length on this is better than either of the Glocks, so that does go to this gun as far as concealability, but the height is 5.1 inches overall, and that is longer than both of the Glocks. So it is a little harder. And the reason is principally because of this pinky extension. Now, Glocks do not have, in my opinion, terribly great grip or ergonomics. I really do like the texturing on this Taurus. It gives me a nice grip. But I will say that I'm still not getting 3 fingers on this even with the pinky extension. Unless I'm squishing my pinky up there. So in order to shorten the grip a little bit, what I did was I ordered a flat base plate for the magazine. And since I'm basically going to be using 2 fingers to hold the gun anyhow, I'd rather, when I carry it, not have this additional part. So in regard to the grip, again, I think because of the texturing, the ergonomics, I got to give that to the Taurus. I realize some people love the ergonomics on the Glock, so to all the Taylor Swift fans, more power to you. In regard to the weight, this gun comes in at 22 ounces, so it's a hair heavier than the Glock 26. That really doesn't bother me. We're talking about a couple of ounces, and quite frankly, I think it handles recoil better. So I'm going to give that one begrudgingly to the Glock 43X, since it is lighter. But I'm going to say that that really doesn't matter much to me. So, you know, we're fine with that. Now, one of the things that does matter to me is capacity. And while this gun is a little bit higher in height, it also comes with 2 extra rounds. So standard capacity on this gun is 12, as opposed to both of the Glocks, which are 10. So I will take that fraction of an inch in height and take the 2 extra rounds. So capacity absolutely goes to the Taurus. In regard to the action, those are striker fire action single. And this particular Taurus, and it's one of the reasons that I really kind of was intrigued with this gun. This is also a single action striker fire, but it has what's called second strike capability. So if for some reason you fire once, and again, we'll check, the gun is empty, the magazine is in it, you know, if we want to get technical there, we're all good. If you fire it and it doesn't go bang, in the other, you know, tap rack, you know, for the Glock, you have to eject the round. On this, you fire it again. So you have a second strike capability on this, which is nice. And for me, it would be a lot quicker if in the event the gun didn't go bang the first time when you wanted. If it happened again, then you would probably have to clear that round. But I think that that's really interesting that This striker fire does have that second strike capability. So in regard to the action, I'm going to give that to the Taurus. All three guns have polymer frames. The slide on this is alloy steel with a Tenifer black matte finish. Now what that basically means is it's a treatment to the slide that is supposed to harden the slide. I honestly can't say if this slide is going to hold up better than a Glock slide. Based on what I've seen online and the reviews that I've read, the finish on this gun will tend to wear quicker than the Glocks. So to that extent, the finish on the Glock is probably nicer. So we'll go ahead and give that nod to the Glock. The barrel on this gun is 3.2 inches, which is just a hair shorter than the barrels on the Glock. So in theory, you might get a quarter pound, a foot-pound pressure at the muzzle more from a Glock than you will for this, so we'll also give that to the Glock. But it is a stainless steel barrel with a 110 twist. This gun has a striker block and a trigger safety, which is the only real safety, in my opinion, that the Glock has. So this has all the safeties that the Glock has, plus, and this is the reason I actually went ahead and bought this gun, it has a manual thumb safety. Now I know, so you don't have to put in the comments, that some people hate the manual safety. I don't. In fact, I insist on having a manual safety on guns that I carry. I understand that some people feel that if you can't carry a gun without accidentally discharging it without a safety, you shouldn't be carrying the gun. I think that that is rubbish. That's like me saying, if you can't figure out to turn the safety off on the gun, you haven't trained enough and you shouldn't be carrying a gun. The point is, you should be carrying a gun regardless. You should do it whatever makes you comfortable. And for me and for a lot of people, the manual safety makes us feel a lot more comfortable. And it helps beginner shooters get into carrying guns comfortably. So I like it. And there's a whole bunch of other reasons why I think a manual external safety is important. And we can get into that. This gun also has a very small spot for a Picatinny rail. So you could, as we said, they have the coupon, you can mount a laser, a small light. In regard to the other features, it does have a single magazine release. It's not ambidextrous, but my understanding is that you can switch it out. It has a loaded chamber indicator, so you could check there. I believe it also has that there. The sights on this gun, I also prefer to the Glock sights. So it has a serrated black rear sight and a white dot up front. For me, this is a very nice trigger to easily acquire a target. And this is a type of gun that you would be carrying for self-defense, so you really do want that easy acquisition. So, in regard to why I call this gun a Glock killer, it is because 10 out of 10 times I'm going to either buy or recommend this particular Taurus over either of those Glocks. Again, the trigger on this particular gun, in my opinion, is superior to the out-of-the-box triggers on the Glock. It does have the trigger safety, and what we're going to do right now, you have that second strike, so it's almost like a double action, right? You can fire it. It's a really, in the double action or in the second strike, the wall is right there, and it's a very long trigger pull, just like you would expect a double action to be. But let's take a look at the single action, right? So it's wrapped, and it does have a bit of a long pull before you hit that wall. So that for some people, that might be a negative. But once you do hit the wall, it's got little creep, but it's a pretty crisp trigger. So the reset on it is very short as well. It comes out right there. So that's a very short reset. I do like that. And then again, we'll just check the creep on this. Very short. I'm going to try and do it one more time slower. So it's moving a little. Now, that trigger does feel a little bit heavy to me, particularly for a striker fire. So let's pull out the trigger tool and see what kind of poundage we're getting on that. And let's see what we come in at. 3 pounds, 14.1 ounces. £3 pounds, 13.4 ounces. £3 pounds, 4.7 ounces. So, not horrible, but a little heavier than I might have thought. Now, in regard to the second strike, let's take a look at that. And we're going to see that that is 5 pounds on the first one. £5 pounds, 2.6 ounces. And we're going to do one more. 4 pounds, 13.4 ounces. So really not bad. Honestly, I thought it would be a much heavier trigger pull just based on how it feels. Because it's a long way to that break. But the break, again, is pretty clean. Let's take a look at how you would break this gun down now. And bear with me because, as I said, as you might imagine, since I don't like Glocks, I do not break them down terribly often nor clean them. Usually after I shoot a Glock, I just return it to whoever bought it. So my understanding is that we pull the trigger. So we'll rack this. I believe we pull it, fire that. We bring this back, push this down, and there we go. And then we can push it forward. And that breaks the gun apart. So honestly, just like a Glock, we'll take the spring out, take the barrel out, and that is it. So that is how you do a quick field strip to put the gun back together. Drop it in. We will slide this in place. Make sure that it is solidly on there. And then we just slide this back. And there we go. And check and make sure that it works again. So there you have it, the Taurus G3C. We're going to take this gun out to the range. We're going to shoot it. If they happen to have any Glocks laying around in their rental department, we will rent them and compare it to them. If not, we'll check the trash, see if anyone put their Glocks there.
It's funny because it's true.
And we'll still try and compare them for you. And we're going to put that footage in right after this. Maybe I got to rethink Glock.
Yeah, say. The 26.
Wow. This is such a tight little group. Huh. It's much more controllable than the 43 was. Very uncomfortable in the hand. Really tough to get a grip on it. More so than, honestly, any other like compact or subcompact I've got. But I shot it better, so maybe uncomfortable is not a horrible place to be. Huh. Okay. So like it barely can get 2 fingers in. So that's weird. This is for sure free. One, 10. All right, take it. I think that was the double fight.
That was a double fight.
Yeah. So that's better.